Everyone, welcome to this Dynamic Pilates 45-minute session with me, Sarah Brown. It's an absolute pleasure to be spending the next 45 minutes with you. If you want to come to the mat, we'll start standing today, and for the session you will need either your squishy ball or your rolled up towel or your pillow. Whichever you have available to you is absolutely fine. So when you're ready, let's make a start. Welcome to the next 45 minutes of your Dynamic Pilates session. If you want to take your legs wide, we'll start with our warm-up, rolling up and down through the spine and starting to mobilize through the hips, knees and ankles as well. So draw the belly in nice and firmly. Take a deep breath in. Reach the arms all the way up to the sky. Interlace the thumbs. We'll take a little side bend over to the right side and come back through center. Take a little side bend over to the left and back through center. Beautiful. We'll take the arms down by your side. Take a slight bend in your knees as we roll down through the spine. Allow the hips to descend between the heels and allow the forehead to release between the feet as well. Hands are heavy on the floor, and then we'll roll all the way back up to standing, stacking the vertebrae one on top of the other. Place the hands into the small of the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. We'll lift the heart, lift the chest. We'll do that 2 more times. So we take a deep breath in. Arms reach to the side. Interlace the thumbs. Take them over to the right side. And back to center. Take them over to the left. And back to center. Arms hang heavy. Chin drops to chest. Roll down through the spine. Bend in the knees. And then we roll back up, roll the shoulders, take the hands into the small of the back and lift the heart, lift the chest. Beautiful. From here we take a deep knee bend and then we come all the way to standing. Let's do 10 of these, big deep squats, weights over the balls of the feet. We're pressing down through the heels, making sure that there's no lateral movement through the hips. It's just straight down, straight up. For 5, bellies in for 4, and 3. Good. For 2. Here's last one we hold here. Lift the right heel off the floor, press it down. Again, right lifts and press. For 10 and 9 and 8. Try and keep those hips low. 7. Here's 6 and 5. For 4. For 3 and 2. Last one, we change sides. For 10. Lift the heel and 9. And 8. No movement through the hips. They're staying completely even. Here's 6. Knees press over the toes. Chest nice and tall. Bellies in. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Beautiful. We stand tall. We rise up onto the tippy toes. Right up high. Bend the knees. Press the heels down and then stretch the legs. Rise tippy toes. Bend the knees. Press the heels and stretch. 8 to go. 8 and 7 and 6 and 5. Just testing that balance for 4. Good. Here's 3. Beautiful. For 2. Lovely. Last one. We squeeze, lower down, hold here with the heels off the ground. Reach the arms all the way above the crown of the head, and we're just going to pulse those legs. So we'll just drop the hips for 10, 9, keep the heels as high off the floor as you can, 8, 7, 6, 5, here's 4, and 3, for 2, squeezy glutes, last one, press the heels down into the floor, we take the arms all the way parallel to the side of the body, turn the right arm in to come parallel with the shoulders and the hips line up to the front of the mat, we're in a lunge, we lower down, we stretch tall. And 9 and stretch tall, belly in. 8 and 7 and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. We come down into your lunge position. We'll stay here as we open back through your big second plie. We turn the left arm in, left hip in. Arms parallel to the shoulders, we lengthen, lift for 10 in a lunge, 9 and 8 for 7. Here's 6, chests tall for 5, lower the shoulders down, knit the lower rib cage together at the front of the body, 3, 2, last one, lower down in your lunge, we open back through to that big second plie. And then we bring the hands up to the hips. Turn the toes to face the long edge of the mat. So we're turning those feet in slightly. Hinge at the hips as we come flat back to the floor. And then we fold forward over those legs. Take the hands around the ankles. And if you can, look underneath, up to the sky, through the legs. See how you go. Transfer the weight forward into the balls of the feet. Beautiful. We take a deep breath in. Take the right hand to the left ankle and reach the left arm up to the sky. Little twist through the upper back. We then come back down. Take the left hand to the right ankle, right arm up to the sky, a little look up to the top. And then we come back down. Place both hands on the floor. Lengthen flat back to the floor. Take the hands to the hips. And then we come all the way to standing. Beautiful. Let's heel toe those feet in to the center. And we'll just come to changing your positioning now. We're going to move into some little squats. So feet are just underneath the hips. We're going to leave the arms either on the hips, or we can have the arms coming parallel to the shoulders. Belly draws in. We drive down, hips behind heel line. Belly's in, and then standing tall, we open the hips up at the top. Squeeze and lower for 10. And 9, 8, pressing the knees out to the long edges of the mat as we go. 7, here's 6, and 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, last one, hold. We lift the right heel off the floor, press it down. Left heel off, press it down. Keep the chest tall, belly in, ideally 90-degree angle at the knee joint. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, good, go a little lower, you can do it, for 4, here's 3, and 2, last one, and we come all the way back up to the top, reach the arms above the head, look up, reach up, we then roll down through the spine, taking the hands to the floor. Inhaling and exhaling in ragdoll. You can interlace the thumbs around the elbows. We give the legs and body a little sway. Beautiful. From here, we're going to walk the hands out to the top of the mat and then take a step back so that we're the length of the mat in high plank. Take a deep breath in. As we exhale, lift the right foot off the floor. Hold for 4. For 3, hips are level, for 2, and we place it down. Lift the left foot off the floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right leg comes up, bring the knee into the center of the chest, and then back out for 5. Here's 4, for 3, for 2. Last one. Stay with me, left side. Knee in center chest, extend for 4, extend for 3, extend for 2, extend, last one, extend. We lower that foot down in your high plank, lower the knees to the floor, keep the toes tucked under. We'll push back into a little child's pose. Big deep breaths and exhale. And we'll come through to your tabletop position. So we'll just take a couple of little stretches here. So we'll reach the right arm all the way up to the sky. Interlace the arm underneath the left. Take a little stretch through the top of the back. Feel that upper back release. And then we extend that arm all the way back up, yawn it open, and place it back down. Other side, lengthen left. Interlace left under right. Feel the back of the shoulder press and descend into the floor. As you take a deep breath in, we're sending the breath all the way to the base of the ribs. Particular focus on the back line of the body. So really breathe into the back. And just changes how that whole upper back releases when we take the breath and the awareness of the breath into the back body. We then come all the way back up to the top. And we place that hand down on the floor. Beautiful. So from here, we take your right arm out, left leg out, come parallel to the floor, and then come all the way in, knee comes to elbow without any movement through the spine. We extend, lengthen for 8. Super slow, no movement, no shifting one side or the other. It's just an easy flowing movement of the shoulder joint on the right arm and the hip joint on the left leg. The abdominals are engaged to support the spine. We're coordinating the movement with the breath. Inhale and exhale. 3 more. And do try and make sure we go to the full range of the movement. So really extend the arm out as far as you can without the shoulder getting involved. We're not lifting the shoulder by the ear. And the hip all the way out to the back end of the mat. Or the back wall, the wall behind you. 1 more. And extend. And then we lower down. Take a deep breath, little reset the spine. Exhale. Keep the belly engaged, shoulders away from the ears. We extend left arm, right leg for 8. And center. And 7. And center. Here's 6. In, 5, in, 4, squeeze, 3, squeeze, 2, squeeze, 1, and exhale, lower all the way down. Little lift of the knees off the floor. Little shift back with the sit bones over the heels, and then come back to your elevated tabletop. So the knees are still 3 inches off the floor. Feel the abs engage. We'll go 5 and center. 4, center. 3, center. 2, center. Here's your last 1. Center hold. The knees are 3 inches off the floor. Belly's engaged, the spine is long, the eye gaze is 45 degrees forward, dome the top of the back, so really engage through the chest muscles as well, for 5, for 4, big deep breath, for 3, for 2, and 1, lower the knees down, amazing, and we'll come to laying on your belly, on the floor, for the next part. We start to move into your upper back work, so I'm going to grab hold of your ball now. And the ball is going to be extended out above the crown of the head, just squeezing between the hands. The shoulders are drawing down away from the ears. We're going to press the tops of the feet into the floor and squeeze the inside seam of those legs. Now, if you don't have a ball, you can grab a pillow. That's absolutely fine. Just something to hang on to. You can grab hold of a rolled up towel as well. That's fine. It's just literally something to have to focus your holding and engaging through the upper body. So we take a deep breath in. Press the pubic bone towards the floor. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. We inhale, and as we exhale, lift head, shoulders and arms, elbows squeezing into the side of the head, but the shoulder blades are drawing away from your ears. We then lower down. Let's go 5 more. So coordinating it with the breath. Inhale, exhale, lift. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. Squeeze the glutes. And lower. Inhale, exhale, and lower. 3, and lower. 4, lower. 5, down. Move at your own breath pace. Keep it dynamic, so we're not hanging out and having too long rests between each rep. There is a flow, and it is timed with your breath, inhale and exhale length. And relax, good. We hold here, just have a little release through the hips. Now the next stage of this exercise, we continue the upward lift of the upper body, but this time we're going to take the arms, exchanging the ball between the hands, taking them out to the side. So we inhale, lengthen, lift, open the arms to the side, come back to the crown of the head, open the arms to the side, transferring the ball in the hands back to the top, and then lower down. Again, we inhale, open, lift the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together behind the body as we open the arms. So we're working all of those postural muscles at the back of the body around the shoulder blades. For 5, squeeze, transfer, squeeze, transfer, and lower. Inhale, transfer for 4, transfer, and lower. Exhale, inhale, transfer. Here's number 3. And lower down on the exhale. We inhale, lift and lengthen for 2. And exhale, lower. Here's your last 1. And we lower down. Beautiful. Release the ball. Take the hands to a 90-degree position. We place the right hand into the palm of the floor on the right side. Take the left cheek to the floor, and we'll lift and lengthen the right leg up and over. So this will feel a little bit of a stretch through the top of the back, into the right front of the shoulder, and also the pecs or the chest muscles. We're getting this beautiful opening through the cross-sling fascia of the body as well. All of this tends to close off when we're sitting at a desk. And then we'll come back through to the center. 90-degree angle at the elbows. Take the left palm to the floor, right cheek to the floor, and we lift and lengthen the left leg up and over. Big deep breaths. About 3, maybe 4. And then we'll come back through to the center. Take the hands underneath the armpits, press through into a high planked tabletop, and we're here in your tabletop position. So we'll move into the hips now and into the glutes. I'm not going to spend too much time on the glutes because I do want to do some more ab work laying on our back. So we'll just have a little tickle for a Monday. So we take the legs all the way out, right leg to the side for fire hydrant, and then back down. Here's 2. And down, 3, and lower, for 4, and lower. We'll get to 10, breathing as we go, trying not to favor that left hip. So we're staying above that kneeling leg. 2 more. Last one, we squeeze and hold, little pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Just notice if you're starting to bend into the left elbow as well. We do want to make sure that those arms stay nice and straight. 2 more pulses. Last one, we squeeze, hold. Flex the foot. Lower the foot below the knee line. We don't want to be the other way. So lower the foot. We bring the knee into above the tricep and then back out to your 90 degrees. So we squeeze for 10 and 9 and 8, 7. Feel those abs work. 6, 5, 4, 3. Easy movement through that hip socket. Good. Last one. And then lower down. Perfect. We'll push back. If you do find that that hip feels a little congested, it may just need a little bit of mobilizing. If you've been sitting down for quite some time or you're not getting up and moving every hour or so, those hips can get very tight. And the front of the hip can get quite tight as well through those hip flexors. So just notice if it feels a little bit sticky and a bit congested. So we'll come through to the other side now. So straight into fire hydrant for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And we will do some hip flexor stretches, which you can do in between your work day. We'll do that towards the end of the session, so that you can start to work the mobility and flexibility of that hip, just as little interims, as a little break for your body, sitting down all day. 2 more. Last one, we squeeze and hold. Let's pulse it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold here in your fire hydrant. We squeeze the knee into above the tricep and then back for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We squeeze and lower. Beautiful. Let's walk those knees forward. Take the sit bones down onto the floor. Just a little seamless transition as we come through to a seated position on the mat. Taking your ball between the knees or your cushion or your rolled up towel, whatever you've got accessible for you. Squeeze the ball or your accessory, whatever it is, in between the knees. Place the soles of the feet about hip width apart. Draw the belly in. We lengthen out through the lower and the upper back. Squeeze the arms about aligned with the shoulders, palms facing each other. We tuck the tailbone under, squeeze the ball between the knees. We roll down. When we reach down and come back, we exhale, chin tucks in, and we sit rolling back up the spine. Okay, so we're just going roll down through the spine. Exhale, rolling back up. For 2, here's 3, and squeeze. Let's get to 10. For 4, exhale. So we're inhaling on the way down, and then exhaling on the way up. 3 more. It's fluid control down through that spine. So one vertebrae after the other is getting just as much attention both on the way up and on the way down. Good. Here's your last one. We're going to stay down there. Bring the arms back and into a 90-degree position onto the floor, and we bring the knees in to a tabletop position. Beautiful. Let's squeeze the ball, the ball between the knees. We hug the ball into the chest, and then a toe tap onto the floor with the toes. Keep pulling the belly button through to the spine. So we squeeze the ball into the chest, little toe tap. Nothing moves at the spine. Squeeze and toe tap for 10. And 9 and 8. Here's 7 for 6 for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We come back to your tabletop position. Reach the arms parallel to each other from the shoulders towards the top of the mat. We squeeze the head and shoulders off the floor. Turn the palms down. Squeeze the ball between the knees. We pump the arms for our Pilates 100s. Inhale for 5. Exhale for 5. Here we go. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Quick pump with those arms. Inhale. Exhale, inhale, and exhale. Here's 4, and exhale, 5, and exhale, 6, and exhale. Inhale for 7, and exhale. Inhale for 8, exhale. Inhale for 9, and exhale. Inhale for 10, and exhale. Hug the knees into the chest, take the head and shoulders down to the floor. We'll take the knees over to the right side, feel a little release through that lower back if it's available to you. If not, it's just a nice stretch and a bit of a relax. And then roll over to the other side. I often find my lower back gives a nice chunky clunk. Yours may do that, or may not. As long as there's no pain, that's the most important thing, as long as it's a relief. All right, so extend those legs all the way up to the sky. We take a deep breath in, lift and lengthen the head and shoulders off the floor. Now, keeping the belly button pulling through to the spine, we're going to lower the legs down to a 45 degrees. Bring them into 90, tabletop, and then extend. They squeeze 45, 90 squeeze in, shin bones are parallel to the floor, and then extend the legs up to the sky. 45, in through parallel, extend. It's almost like we're doing a reverse bicycle with both legs. Good. For 5, and squeeze for 4. Keep pulling that belly button through to the spine for 3. And extend for 2. And extend for 1. And extend and lengthen, hold. Reach the arms by the ears. We hold for 5. For 4, if you're shaking like me, it's awesome. For 3, for 2, and 1. Let's place the soles of the feet down on the floor, head and shoulders release. Let's take the ball out and leave it to the side. And we come back up into your 90-degree tabletop position, belly button pulls through, arms extend above the shoulders. So we take a deep breath in. We extend the right arm back, left arm parallel to the floor. On the exhale, come back to the top. Inhale. We exhale, lengthen. Inhale, back to the top. And 5 more. 4 more. Take your time with this. We're coordinating each phase of the movement with the breath. The inhale, full range, exhale, full range. Inhale, full range, exhale, full range. Keep alternating arms and legs. And notice if the side that needs to be stable likes to get involved in the activity. This takes a little bit of coordination and concentration to coordinate the right and left hemispheres of the brain. Good. 2. Extend. And last one. And extend. We place the soles of the feet down on the floor. Take a big deep breath in. And we'll roll all the way up through the spine into your bridge. And rolling all the way back down. A little lift of the head and shoulders at the top. And come back down to the floor. We roll the hips up. Squeeze the glutes. We squeeze the head and shoulders off the floor. And back down. My ball keeps wanting to get involved. Roll all the way up. And back down. And squeeze, lengthen. And lower. And roll back down, 1 vertebrae at a time. So try not to go up in clunks. Don't go up in the hip section and then the midsection. It's belly through to the spine, tailbone peels, then the middle of the back, then the upper back, middle of the back, belly button, lower back, and then tailbone. Head and shoulders, belly to spine, chin away from chest, and exhale. We roll. And lower. Head and shoulders come off the floor. Let's do 3 more. And squeeze and lengthen. For 2 more. Squeeze and lengthen. Good. Here's your last one. Here's a squeeze and lengthen. Hold here. Hug the knees into the chest. Give them a little hug. And then we'll rock and roll up and down the spine a couple of times. We'll cross the ankles as we go and roll through into your high plank tabletop position. Now, we'll lift the sit bones high, take the feet about shoulder width apart. This is a downward yogic downward dog. I'm not spending too much time here, but this is just to lengthen out the back line of the body. Take a slight bend in your knees. And then tilt the pelvis and pubic bone up to the sky and the sit bones up to the sky. Press the chest towards the long bones of the thighs. Squeeze the elbows to the ears and the outer edges of the head. And then from here, we'll step your right foot forward and we'll lower the back knee down. So I mentioned earlier on that we were going to do some stretches for the front of the hip. Here we are. So we place the hand onto the top of the right knee, square the hips off. So if you notice that one hip is tracking forward, usually the front leg is tracking further forward than the other. Make sure we pull them so that they're aligned, so that the hips are even, and then we press forward, keeping the tailbone tucked under, lifting through the chest and the torso. And we go down as low as you can, still maintaining that alignment and the posture. We then reach both arms up to the sky. Take your right hand down beside your right hip and take a little side bend over to the right edge of the mat with the left hand. Now, if you want to add in a little extra, if you're getting a decent side bend, you may wish to then reach the arm back towards the top right corner of the mat. So there's just a little opening through and lengthening through the side body. Beautiful. We then come back through, frame the front foot. Wiggle the foot to the outer edges of the mat. We'll take the elbows down to the floor as we come into a lizard pose. And we're lengthening the chest forward towards the front of the mat. You can have your hands either clasped, one on top of the other. You can place the hands down on the floor and feel yourself being pulled through as you lengthen the spine. Keep squeezing the glutes as well. So 100-pound bill between your butt cheeks. A big deep breath in. Good. We then come up onto the right hand. Give yourself a little room. We're going to turn your left palm so that it aligns, the forearm aligns to the front of the mat. The elbow is underneath the shoulder. We take a deep breath in, lift the sit bones off the floor and the hips off the floor as we roll onto the blade edge of your back leg. You'll notice that there is quite a stretch through that front hip. Place your right hand on your right hip and then we step into a low side plank on the elbow, the right foot on top of the left. So we're not dropping the hips to the floor. Make sure we lift them off the floor. Big deep breath in as we lift underneath the rib cage as well. If you want to extend the top arm up, you can. Shoulders draw away from the ears. We hold for 5, for 4, for 3. Big deep breaths. For 2, squeeze the inside seam of those legs together. And 1, we then place right palm down on the floor. Roll onto your toes, so we're in a half plank. Come up into a high plank. Step the left foot forward between the hands and lower the back knee down. A little challenging transition there, so we don't just fall out of it. We come back up with the hands onto the left knee now. So again, we'll just check in with this hip alignment. We've not got the left hip tracking forward, so we square them off. Tuck the tailbone under slightly, so we're not sticking the tailbone out. It is tucked under. And then we press forward into those hips. Take a deep breath in. We're lengthening from pubic bone up to your sternum. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and down. We can reach the arms up to the sky now. Belly's drawing in to protect the lower back. Take the left arm down to the floor on the outer edge of your left hip and take a side bend over away from your right leg. Again, if you took a little reach back, you can do that this time. Looking back, reaching back towards the top left corner of the mat. Shoulders down, away from the ears. We then frame that front foot with the mat and we'll come down onto the forearms as we come into your lizard pose. Lengthen the chest forward. Deep inhale and exhale. Beautiful. So when you've done about 4, maybe 5 breaths, we turn your right forearm so that it aligns with the top of the mat. The elbow is directly underneath the shoulder. We're pressing the chest forward, so we're not back behind the shoulder line. We are pushing the chest forward and lengthening the spine. Tuck the back toe under and lift the hips up. We'll roll onto the blade edge of your back foot. Take your left hand onto the hip. We're already lifting those hips away from the floor. As we step the left on top of right, you may wish to extend the left arm up to the sky or keep it on the hips. Squeeze the glutes, lift underneath the armpit and rib cage. Inhale, exhale, 3, exhale, 2 more. Keep squeezing the inside seam of those legs together. And here's your last one. We then place the left arm and hand down on the floor. Roll the torso so that you are parallel to the floor. You're on your tippy toes. And then we'll press up into your high plank. Lift the right leg off the floor. Inhale. Bring the right leg to fire hydrant. Exhale. Back to lift it off the floor and lower down. Belly in. Lift the left leg off the floor. Toes point towards the floor. Left leg through fire hydrant. Come back through left leg, extend, and lower back down to the floor. We hold here in your high plank for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, last 1.5, and good. We'll bring the knees down to the floor. Come to sit into a seated position. You can take the soles of the feet together, press those knees down, take a deep breath in, and we'll fold forward over those legs. Well done. And then we'll come back through. Take the right knee directly over and place it on top of the left. Sit bones are anchored down into the floor. We want to wiggle those shin bones so they line up to the front of your mat. So if I'm aligned to the long edge of my mat, they're ideally getting my shin bones to be aligned in the same. We'll take the right arm over to a left side bend. Keep the right hip anchored down. And then we come back through to the other side. Come back up to the top. Take the tented fingers forward. We'll roll the chin to the chest. Roll down forehead to knees. And then extend the spine and reach the arms forward. Allow the forehead to release. And then walk the hands all the way back in. Let's swap sides. So we now take the left leg over the right. Anchoring the sit bones down, little wiggle of the feet out so they align to the long edge of the mat. There we go. Take a side bend over to the right side. And coming back through, inhale and exhale over the other way. And come back up to the top. This time, interlace the fingers behind the back and the base of the skull. Squeeze the elbows back and just take a little lift of the chest. And then we fold forward over those legs and release the hands to extend forward. And we're here for about 4 or 5 breaths again. Beautiful. Walk the hands all the way back in. So this time we're going to take the feet about hip width apart. Take the hands just behind the sit bones. Give yourself some space to cross the right ankle over the left knee. Now we can draw that left foot in as close to the groin as you can. We then press the chest forward and keeping the sit bones down, press the right knee back and compress the chest and the leg together. So this is a version of the figure 4 stretch or pigeon stretch. We're targeting into the hips here. And obviously, if you need to have your feet out a little bit further, because that's more accessible, you can. But as you bring everything in and it compresses in a little more, that's also an indicator of the improvement of your flexibility. It's always nice to have little markers that we're getting somewhere. Otherwise it all just feels like it's just a slog, doesn't it? It's just all difficult. But when we can see things improving over time, it makes it worth it. Keeps the motivation high. All right, so we'll release through there. Take the other foot down on the floor and take the left foot in now. Again, flexing the toes. We want to make sure that we're not just hanging out here. We're flexing those feet. Bringing the right foot in as close as you can, pressing that left knee back. So if you're noticing that it's twisting the hips, try and press it down and away from you as you lift the chest. So that's really important. the lifting of the chest. We're not compressing and collapsing over that leg. So give your lungs space to move. And exhale. Beautiful. Inhale. And exhale. Let's do one more. Oh, and exhale. Lovely. Let's release, extend both legs out in front of you. We can take a slight bend in the knees, take a flex of the toes. We reach the arms all the way up to the sky. Have a little look up and then a fold forward. Just compress, collapse, let go, release. Over those legs. And then we'll reach the arms all the way back up to the sky. Take a cross of the legs into a comfortable position. Place the hands just palms down or up in the lap. And to close the session, I invite you to take a round of about 5 deep inhales and exhales. And as you do so, try and clear the mind. Try and bring your focus to either your heart space, your belly, or perhaps the third eye space at the bridge of the nose between the eyebrows. Feel the spine lengthen, feel the space between the ears and the shoulders, the hips and the lower ribs. And just take this moment of stillness, just to focus on the breath. Try not to think about what you've got to do when you get off the mat or what has been going on pre-getting onto the mat. Just focus on right here and now as you take your deep inhales and exhales. Perhaps close the eyes down, or if you find that a little challenging, just focus the eyes in a fuzzy focus. So start to fray around the edges and make it a fuzzy focus gaze. Just about 45 degrees in front of you. Find a spot that you can focus on the floor. And with each breath, just clear the mind. If you find it comforting to focus on a color, or focus on a sensation of spaciousness and maybe emptiness, or perhaps a feeling of support and being held in space. And as you breathe into the lower rib cage, especially focusing on the back body, allow the breath to deepen. Allow the body to wind down, the nervous system to unravel. We'll take the last deep inhale and a lengthened exhale to close the session. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Let's reach the arms all the way up to the sky. A little flutter of the eyes open, bringing the hands down through to your heart prayer center. I wish you namaste and a wonderful rest of the day. Take that peace and that stillness with you off the mat and know that you don't have to rush anything.